I wanted my reviews to have a structure. I forgot. It just kind of felt like all she was thinking was, trust no bitch. I keep saying then you find out, but there's a lot that you find out. It's time to fucking rebel. It's time to rebel. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrew. Today I'm going to be reviewing an incredibly popular book, and that is The Final Empire, or Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have been following, adult fantasy booktube for, 2 years maybe? 2 years. 2 years I've been following adult fantasy booktube. And this is always recommended as like your first entry point into adult fantasy. And I do agree. So this is like, to me and who I follow and what I see online, and of course I make the decisions of who I follow online, but I like them. I like all the people I follow, obviously, but this series is so hyped. Obviously you can tell I enjoyed it because I tabbed it up, but I have to I have to give a history lesson of me and Brandon Sanderson. You can skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp or something if you don't care. But I did read Warbreaker, and I actually used to I owned like the nice, everyone wants the nice, like all the spines match Cosmere copies, the white UK paperbacks. But let me tell you, I recommend this so much because baby, like, look at that. Look at the flop, okay? And those UK paperbacks are so goddamn stiff. Like, they are so stiff. I hate them. And these, you can just, that's what I need, okay? I need more floppy paperbacks in the world, and I will actually read your books, okay? Floppy paperback. And the spine looks amazing. Like, you can just all the way, and it still looks great. And it really doesn't seem like it should be relevant, but man, was it relevant, because it really changed my enjoyment of this book a lot. I just gotta say it. I mean, it really enhanced the experience for me personally, because I picked this up on audio, 3 or 4 different times, and I just don't like Michael Kramer. I've just come to realize that his voice, to me, he is very monotone. I think I'm kind of monotone. Let's just talk about this fucking book, because good Lord, I have some thoughts. And possibly some theories, because I have not read, this is the first time I've read it. I haven't read beyond here, and I wanted to have a review just for I like to, if I'm going to review a series, I like to review the first book before I get farther, because I don't like things to get intermingled. But I do want to also say, regarding Mr. Brandy Sandy here, I didn't think I was going to like this because of the whole DNF'd it so many times, and because I read Warbreaker, and I think I talked about that in a recent reads video or something. I can link it up there, maybe, if you want to see it. But I remember just being kind of disappointed in that, and people really love Warbreaker. Like, people love them some Warbreaker. So I was like, okay, maybe not. And then I was like seeing it recommended as a beginner fantasy thing, and I kind of agree, I guess. But I think this is better for a beginner because of a lot of reasons. But again, so if you don't know what this book is about, well, I'm trying to make this video. I'm going to do a spoiler-free video, and I'm doing a spoiler-filled video, and I'm doing the spoiler-filled video first because I think it'll just, for me, it just helps. So if you don't know what Mistborn is, check out my spoiler-free video, which I'm going to most likely have already posted at this point. So I'll link it up there if you want to see the spoiler-free version. But if you're still here, this is just an adult fantasy that's set in the city called Luthadel, which is like a completely made-up world. It's like not even our own world at all. And the bad guy won, and he's been ruling for 1,000 years, and it's just, that's what it is. So as I'm gonna do this review, oh, that's right. I wanted my reviews to have a structure. I forgot. So let me do that. So, but what's really cool in here is the magic system. The magic system is what just really did it for me. So I finally picked this book up physically, and I read, I want to say 115 pages of this book physically, and like on a weekend or something. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, most of the tabs here are like in the first 100 or so pages of this book, because I did switch back to audio, because once I kind of got into the world and understood what was happening and who everybody was, and once I was introduced to everybody, I was able to kind of just listen to it. Michael Kramer is still not my favorite like narrator at all, but I was able to just be in the world and understand it. So, and I'm busy. I'm a busy person, so I need an audiobook. That sounds so, I mean, I'm not I work full time. That's why I just need an audiobook, and like I can get through the book faster that way. And I wanted to read it. I'm reading this for a book club, actually, the book club that I started, and I cannot wait to discuss with everybody. I'm so excited. It seems like the people that have made it, because we've had a lot of people drop out of the book club because they're just busy, or some people DNF the book. But anyways, are we going to actually review the book, Andrew? Are we going to talk about the book? I have notes. Let me look at my notes. I really liked this book, obviously. What do I want to say first? Okay, so just so I'm forced to add some sort of construction, some sort of way to discuss this in a concise manner, I have to force myself. Let's first discuss the characters. I want to talk about the characters first. Okay, so let me talk about Kelsier and Vin, who are like the two arguably main characters. So I loved Kelsier immediately. I was instantly sold on Kelsier, and Vin, she's just so suspicious of everybody and everything, and which makes sense for her character, but it's just kind of like, while she's being so suspicious, you don't really get to know her. You don't like, I don't know, it just wasn't like, because you can like be in her head and hear what she's thinking, and it just kind of felt like all she was thinking was trust no bitch, which that's fair. But there's a scene over halfway into the book when her and Kelsier are having a conversation, and she like yells at Kelsier about how she's been through some shit, and these people that she's working with, like, they don't know half the shit that she's seen. And I was like, girl, tell them, girl, let them know about themselves. Like, they don't know shit. You have been in the slumps. You have been in the dregs of society. Like, you've been beaten by your own brother. Like, and then he betrayed you. Like, you have been tortured, girl. Like, and these people, they don't know shit. And I was here for it. I was here for Vin to let them know about themselves. And then I was like, cool, loved it. Ellen, I feel like I never see people in these spoiler-free videos that I've seen. No one talks about Ellen. And I fucking loved Ellen. Ellen was so close to like I loved him. I don't know, man. And the thing about the way that the characters are introduced, it reminded me of another series that I love that I talk about all the time, but I'm not going to talk about it here, but maybe I'll link it in the corner. Maybe you can watch that. But the fact that these characters meet and the way that they, I don't know, because I'm a reader, I get sold on it. I get, what's the word? I got duped by it, I guess. But the fact that Vin is, pretending to be someone else and going to the balls or whatever, which, like, I was not expecting that in this book. I was not expecting there to be a very well written romance and really nice, like, descriptions of balls and like learning about nobility in the way. I just wasn't expecting that from this book, from the way people review it. I just didn't expect that to be such a central part of the story. And for her to go into this, whatever, like a balcony, I was picturing like a balcony or like this like alcove where she was sitting, and then Ellen comes in there, and then he's just sitting there reading, and that's all he's doing, and she's just like, can I help you? And then you find out he's reading these like banned books, or these like books that you shouldn't be reading, or you're not allowed to be reading as a nobility, because they have these ideas that you shouldn't be believing in. And I just fucking loved it. I just ate that shit up. Okay, I really enjoyed that part of the book. And just Ellen, what Ellen represents, like, of course. And then just the way that whole plot point in the book was like Kelsier telling Vin, oh, he's just trying to use you, or he's just trying to see who you are. And then you have Ellen talking to one of his friends who's like, of course she's just using you. Like, she sat in your spot. Like, she knew that's where you were. She's new in town, and then she sees you, and then she like made a beeline for you. So we just know. And then you have in these characters' heads, they're like, I just don't see it that way. I just don't see it that way, because they know that they are like meant for each other. They just know it. And I liked it a lot. Okay, I just was like, you know what? Y'all are gonna sit here and tell me that, like, I don't know my man, but she knew her man. And then Ellen was like, y'all are gonna tell me that I don't know my girl, but I know my girl. And then when Ellen finds out that she's a ska, and just the whole way that this book ends with like the ska rebellion, and then Ellen trying to go after the like Dachshund and Ham and tell them like, hey, like, how about we just like don't fight? What if we just have a truce? And everyone is like, that would maybe be a good idea. And then we have the Lord Ruler, who we have these excerpts. The whole book, we have these excerpts that are just so intriguing. And then, like, halfway through the book, Sazed describes how it's like, oh, this is the journal of the Lord Ruler. And then like meets the Lord Ruler, and then you find out that she's like seeing the Lord Ruler, and she's like, he just gave me a different vibe. Like, the person who wrote this seems different than the person that's in front of me right now. It just seems different. Like, he just seems like a different person. And then you find out that, okay, maybe I really like this book. Okay, but then you find out that, like, and then with that part when she was reading the journal, because it's being translated by Sazed, and then you find out, I keep saying then you find out, but there's a lot that you find out. So Sazed is translating this journal, and then it ends, and then towards the end of the book, it's revealed, I'm trying to use different words. It's revealed that the Lord Ruler's, like, slave is the one who kills him, and then you find out that the Lord Ruler is actually this guy and not the same. I just thought it was so fascinating. Man, that whole ending scene with that, and then we're talking about Vin and her family and who her father is, and then, like, what results from that. And I just don't even know, like, how to, like, so much happens at the end of the book that it's like, what are the words for that? And then, like, in the end, when they're trying to kill the Lord Ruler, or she does kill the Lord Ruler, but before she kills him, he says, like, you don't even know what I've done for these people. And also the journal entries constantly have just these philosophical opposing questions about, like, how he's being kind of forced to be the ruler and how he's going to be the one who saves everybody. But that's not really, I don't think, fully resolved by the end of this book. So color me intrigued, of course. Also, let's talk about how the whole entire book, you have Vin thinking about all the things that her brother tells her, and those are like, it's always like, everyone's going to betray you, Vin. I betrayed you myself. Everyone's going to betray you, Vin. Everyone will betray you. Everybody's going to betray you. Everyone will betray you. And then the Lord Ruler, or not the Lord Ruler, but one of his, like, assistant people tells Vin, he's like, yeah, we tortured your brother shitless, but he died saying that you were already dead. So then you find out that he didn't even betray her. He went to his deathbed defending her. Like, just how ironic. Like, it was just, I loved that. And, like, the misdirection, clearly, because the whole entire book, you're like, I was just thinking, like, yeah, he left her, like, sucks, like, so sorry it sucks, like, that, how awful. And then and again with the romance, because then Ellen comes back for her, and he's with Dachshund, and just, Dachshund? I don't know who he's with. I know Ellen is back, and I know that Ellen and Vin are seeing each other again, and Vin is like, you came back, like, you're the first one that comes back. But that's not really fair, because when you really think about it, like, who's really left her? Like, her brother left her, but he didn't have a choice with coming back because he got murdered. And then Kelsier left because he was also killed. And then, speaking of Kelsier, okay, I was just immediately, like I said, I was immediately a fan of Kelsier. Like, as soon as he came on the page, I was like, I put a bunch of blue tabs here at the beginning. It was shit that made me laugh. I thought it was funny. And one of my favorite quotes here at the beginning, like, someone, I think Vin was like, how can he think things are funny? Like, why is he laughing? Like, what's so funny? And there's a quote where Kelsier says, you ask why I smile? The Lord Ruler thinks he has claimed laughter and joy for himself. I'm disinclined to let him do so. This is one battle that he doesn't take much effort to fight. Also, at the beginning of the book, Kelsier is like, we need to start a rebellion. And he's going to the Skaal. And the Skaal are like, but we don't want to. And then he just kills, like, Lord Trusting at the beginning. And he's just like, you don't want to rebel. You're going to rebel anyways, bitch. Like, you don't want to, but I'm going to make you. You don't want to, but I'm going to make you. You know, it's time to fucking rebel. It's time to rebel. And Kelsier just gives no fucks. And he just does what he does. And also, Kelsier is like, what's the word? He knows that he's going to have to die, because Sazed talks about religion and, like, what makes people who follow a religion, like, what makes it so strong. And Sazed is like, they always have a person to believe in. And then he somehow comes to the conclusion that he needs to be the one to die, and he basically needs to become a martyr. And I was just thinking about this because I read another book. I'm not going to say the book, but I read another book, and there's all this discussion about someone becoming a martyr. And in that book, in the beginning of the book, I'm not telling you the book. So in the other, someone dies towards the beginning, and I'm just like, but why am I gonna? Here, it was executed much better here, in my opinion, because here it happens at the end of the book, and you have time to know the character. You get time to learn Kelsier. I'm already fucking in love with Kelsier on page 1. Okay, like not like book boyfriend in love, but like love this character. Like this is someone that I would follow into battle. Okay, like this is my man. Yes, I want to rally behind this cause. Like I support Kelsier. So we find out he wants to kill himself, but then he also adds this extra layer of having that weird thing in the mist that somehow eats people and then comes back with their body. He was like, yo, I'm gonna need you to eat me when I'm dead, and then like come back to these other people and like say that you're me, and then people the next day will be like, Lord Kelsier came to me last night and I saw it for myself and he told me that we need to go ahead and continue this rebellion and blah blah blah. Like I just, man. Also, okay, wait. There are sections of this book with zero dialogue, and all that is happening is just Kelsier doing some magic or Vin doing some magic, and listen, dialogue is my shit. I need to read more like scripts, okay? Like I could just read a straight up script, but this had that part of the book was some of my favorite shit, was just reading about the way that they could use allomancy in these books, and the way Sazed talks about ferromancy and like how it was just, the magic systems are so cool. And I was constantly just looking at this shit in the back that's just the fucking, like, I just, listen, okay? And now I know, like, so I've seen some of my favorite booktubers have this as a tattoo, and now I know Now I know. I get it now. I see it. I understand it. And that's just, ooh, I love it. So, and let me tell you, the Wikipedia page, like, there are so many images of, like, the coins and the different things that they use, and, like, it connects with the metal. And I was picturing a lot of, like, Syndrome from The Incredibles, like, doing this kind of shit, which I'll put a picture here. But that was kind of how I pictured allomancy working, and it was really cool. It was really cool. Oh. So, okay, so I also discovered that you can bookmark. I've known that you can like bookmark stuff on Libby and Audible, but you can bookmark it and then you can write a note. So I can tell you like exactly, like that thing I talked about earlier with Vin and how she was like yelling at Kelsier. I wrote right here, chapter 13, Vin got balls, y'all. That's what I wrote. That's what I wrote, okay? And I know what she was saying. I remember what she was saying. She was like, y'all don't know shit. So that was cool. Let's also talk about how at these balls, Vin keeps going to them and she's trying to like figure out who she should align herself with in these noble houses and all that. And of course, like I said, I already loved the shit out of Ellen and what happens with her and him. And I really hope that the next books are going to be like, have somewhat of a focus on them, because I know the way that it ended, I really liked where they were, because I didn't want them to get together fully in book one. I know she says in her head that she loves Ellen, and we don't know if Ellen feels the same way yet. And I kind of want, I don't know if I would be in love that fast, and I think how much time has passed in this book? Like a year? So I mean, maybe, but I don't know, man. It just, for me, I mean, we need a lot. I need a lot more to like want to be in love with the person. Like, I don't know. I'm just hoping that book 2 is going to really focus on like what it looks like with Ellen being, he's not like the new Lord Ruler, but he's kind of this new, you know, like at the end it like says it is like, but we have a good man at the leadership now. And I'm just really curious, like what he's gonna explore in book 2. Like, is he gonna try to say like, even if you have a good man in power, like a power is still gonna corrupt you, or is he gonna be like, yeah, no, if you have a good man in power, then I don't think it's gonna like fix everything, but if you have a good leader at the head, then I don't know. I just don't know like how it's gonna be explored. But I'm really interested to see, like, you have the Ska by the end, just like rebelling after rebelling, and then you have that whole scene where Kelsier is like, I'm gonna go watch these executions because like I inadvertently caused them to happen, and you're just like, that's really heartbreaking. But then Ellen like when he comes to offer the truce, like I loved that. That was one of my favorite parts of the book. And just the way the Ska and the nobles are gonna interact with each other in the future, knowing that they were like becoming death threats to each other. Just what is gonna happen? I really want to know. Also, let's talk about how the Lord Ruler has lived for 1,000 years, and he is constantly, in this book, you are constantly fed the information or believed to think that he is godlike in his existence, and that he is like a sliver of God itself. Like, and there's a part in the book too where they say, you shouldn't say like, oh, my Lord Ruler, because you're using the Lord's name in vain, and then you, by using the name in vain, means that you are accepting that as your religious figure in a way. And that was super interesting to me. And let's talk about how Kelsier is so anti-nobleman. Like, he hates all the nobility. Like, it doesn't matter who they are, what they've done, like, no idea. Which is why he was so like, Vin, like, this man, he sucks. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you think. Like, he sucks. End of story. Goodbye. The end. And she's just like, but no, there's more to it than that. And again, like, Ellen's friends think, I don't know, man. I just really liked that part of it. Okay, I really liked them being like, no, but my thoughts and my feelings and the way I feel about this person is real. It is valid. Like, I'm just a sucker for romance, I guess. And I thought this was I thought it was real. I cannot believe that people do not mention that the romance in this book is like two opposing. Like, do you know how many people would probably pick this book up if they knew that like a big part of it, a pretty decent part of this book is like two people with very different backgrounds coming together and finding common ground. Like, that is so, like, people eat that shit up, okay? I am people, and like, if you had told me this book has two people with very different backgrounds coming together and finding common ground, I would have like said, open the platter, let's dig in. Also, Sazed, again, I would probably be like, what, Kelsier, Ellen, Sazed, and then Vin, obviously, of course, like the male characters. I really like the male characters. Obviously, this is a male author, so like that makes sense. But some of these women, they be writing some men that I just also be into. Okay, so, but Sazed as a character and what he represents, and he's like what's the word? A keeper? They don't call him a keeper, but he can. That's part of like the magic that he has, and I just can't. For some reason, all I can think about is the fact that he's a eunuch, and I can't remember like the name of what he is, but he has this religion. He's existed for a long ass time, and I was so fascinated whenever Vin was like, were you there like when the Lord Ruler took over? And Sazed was just talking about it very briefly at the end, and I'm just like, so, but he has this, like, he had a religion, he lost his religion, he doesn't know his religion, and he's got all these other religions, and he's just constantly like telling people like, maybe you like this religion, maybe you like this religion. And also, one of my favorite parts of the book too, or one of my favorite like concepts or whatever, is this whole Vin is saying to Sazed, like, do you believe in all these religions? Like, you have so many in your head. And he was like, I believe in all of them a little bit. I'm just like, yes, girl. Also, I just gotta say, there's okay, wait. So in this journal that is being read by Kelsier, Vin, and Sazed, and possibly other people, I think, but these Kelsier and Vin are having a conversation, and Vin is like, I just don't think that this man sounds that arrogant. I just don't think the man writing these words sounds that arrogant. And Kelsier is like, what do you mean? He sounds so arrogant. He sounds really crazy arrogant. And the fact that two people read the same words. These two different people read the same words and they interpreted the words differently. I loved that in the story, because that is so reflective of reality, in a sense that like people can read a book or words or a sentence and everyone can interpret something different or take something different away from it. And I just love that. And I love that it was like a little tiny aspect of this book. Also, back to the part about how Van gets so angry because like she reads the journal and the journal just ends, and she's like, no, where's the rest of the translation? Like, there's more, right? I know you have more. I know there's more to the story. And Sazed is like, we can just draw on our own conclusion. We can just make our own conclusion. And again, that's kind of this nod to like stories and books in a way, about how some people like to just have a story end abruptly and make their own conclusion, or some people want a more concrete conclusion. That's me. I want a more concrete conclusion. I want some answers. Okay, I want answers to my questions. Also, I really enjoyed the part where Vin and Kelsier are having a conversation and they're talking about Mare, and we don't know if Mare actually is the one who betrayed Kelsier or not and like made him go to the Hath Sith or Hath Pit, whatever it's called. And also, wait. I don't remember when it happens in the book, but also there's a whole part where we find out, again, I'm just going to keep saying we find out that Kelsier goes to these pits and then he snaps. And when you snap, it like activates your allomancy. So what does that mean? Like, does that mean that if you're close to death, that you're going to just suddenly gain these powers? Like, and we don't know how allomancy came into existence. Like, we don't know how it came about. We don't know in this book. And I feel like maybe that's explored in the future books, which again makes me more excited to continue, because baby, like yes. So, but we don't know if Mare is the one who betrayed Mr. Kelsier here or not. And Vin, they have a conversation at some point where Vin is like, I don't think she did. And Kelsier is just like, trying to talk about how it doesn't make sense, like it had to be her, like it couldn't have been someone else, like what you just think about the timing and like who knew what when, like it would have had to be her, and the way the Lord Ruler reacted, like it just would have had to have been, and you just don't know. And then I think Kelsier or Vin, I think Kelsier says, You don't stop loving someone just because they hurt you. And yeah, you really don't. You really don't, man. You know, they just rip your heart out and you still got feelings. Okay, so that was like 30 minutes of me talking. And I feel like there's so much to this book. So I know I didn't touch it all, but I mean, I have read it, so feel free to share any of your spoilery thoughts in the comments that you have, anything you agree with, disagree with. So overall, I gave this like a solid 4, like a really, really high 4. And the biggest reason that I couldn't give it like a massive like 5-star, just epic rating to me, I'm not like super stingy with my 5 stars, but my 5-star books are like all-time favorite books. Like if I make a list of favorite books, like those are all 5-star books to me. And this was like a 4.25. So don't get me wrong, it was still really good. It was way better than Warbreaker to me, and I really enjoyed it. But Sanderson's writing style, you know what I mean? Like it's just so basic. Like you can be more lyrical with your prose. You can do it, just like Rothfuss. Okay, Rothfuss is at this moment in time, to me, Rothfuss is the gold standard of how you can write, in the sense of, you know, what he's published. Can he write fast and quickly? No, but what he has written, to me, I've only read the first book, but you know, but to me, Rothfuss in terms of prose is the gold standard. So, but the way that Sanderson talks about his magic system in this book kind of reminds me a little bit of The Name of the Wind. So, you know, if you haven't read The Name of the Wind, maybe just give it a shot. 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 So I think that's all my thoughts on this one. So if you, again, please let me a comment if you have other adult fantasy recommendations for beginners, because I am a beginner for sure. Like, I'm not picking up A Song of Ice and Fire anytime soon. I'm not picking up Malazan anytime, not possibly ever. You know, it's going to be a while before I get up there, but it's going to be a while before I pick up Stormlight Outcrop. I'm just going to tell you now, okay, I'm just going to be at least until book 5 is published, because I am here to binge series. Like, I wait for the series to be done, and then I read it. Except for the fucking Name of the Wind. For some reason, I decided to pick that up. For some reason. Again, let me just finish this video. I need to be done. I just know the second I turn off the camera, I'm going to think of other things to say, but that's fine. That'll be true for all videos, always and forever. So I will leave my Goodreads, Instagram, Twitter, all of that will be in the description. Feel free to follow me if you'd like. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye.